Good morning. So, here we are going to deal with the last chapter of the last module of Zeitgeist, Chemical Happiness and the Meaning of Life. This discourse by the secular Jewish writer Yuval Noah Harari deals with the question of human happiness and the meaning of life. The general perception put forth by social scientists, political leaders, and so on is that external factors have an important role in human happiness. We believe that a high salary, a good job, possession, an expensive flat, a luxury car, business success, a happy marriage, and a family all guarantee human happiness. But biologists, who also base their findings on responses to questionnaires, conclude that human happiness is a work of the biochemistry of a person. The biochemistry or the function going in the brain of a person determine his happiness. Not only that, generally this function is almost static. That is, even though winning a lottery or inventing a cure for AIDS or cancer or finishing a novel may excite a sudden enormous pleasure in him, it is short lived. At the same time, all people do not have the same level of biochemistry. Some are by birth and evolution likely to be easy, happy, while it is not that easy for others. If you take a scale of 1 is to 10, you will find that in a person's case, the level swings between 6 and 10 and in another between 3 and 7. Meaning, some are naturally given to enjoy happiness while others are prone to despondency. Then, what about ideas like married people are happier than the single? Biologists may argue that it is a case of correlation. That is, it can be either way. Either their biochemistry enabled them to marry or the marriage made their biochemistry enjoying. It is the physical sensation of the glamour of the spouse or the pleasure drawn from the physical contact that led the marriage going than the so-called sociological or cultural aspect. So, the solution for the unhappiness existing in human beings lies in the physical pressure rather than any other economic, social, cultural stimuli. Therefore, there is no need of any political, cultural, or economic activity to improve the happiness in our lives, but to simply manipulate the biography through the artificial means. Probably, this is suggested through Aldous Huxley's dystopian novel Brave New World. At the same time, historically speaking, what about the life of people in the ancient or medieval period? What is their happiness less than that of the modern man with all the means of comfort and luxury? We shall have as to say that the level of happiness was the same when the ancient man built his hut or the man paid up the housing installment. If happiness is measured by minute, but may not find bring up a child pleasurable. At the same time, people consider that it is a very pleasurable part of their life. We shall also find that happiness is not the surplus of pleasure and pain. Perhaps meaningfulness is what matters. If you feel that there is a meaning to be achieved or an aim to be attained and you manage to work for that, you may feel happy. A medieval man lived with the hope of entering heaven and so lived with the contentment. Or a modern soldier fighting for his country or scientist working to have a store of knowledge may be thinking he or she is working for certain value or delusions. However, for a purely secular biologist, there is no hope of a hereafter, and nationalists or humanists may also be guided by mere delusion. The medieval believer was guided by the delusion of a happy life the hereafter, and the modern rationalist with the delusion of creating a heaven here itself. Harari concludes the discourse rather pessimistically, stating that probably our fate is to lead a deluded life.